I'd like to welcome everyone here to Sheridan Fire's Town Hall meeting. My name is Wesley Rolfson. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Fire District. This is being streamed live across KLYC, and we do have some people here attending in person. So first off, the Fire District has been around for over 100 years, and we are here to serve the community and to provide whatever resources we can to help people. We have 3 stations. We have the main station here in downtown Sheridan. We also have 2 substations, Station 97 out in Buell and Station 98 out in the Ballston area. And both of these stations are staffed by local residents of those areas. Our district has about 35 volunteers. You can tell we have a mix of EMS personnel along with firefighters. We do have ambulances, and we staff them with paramedics through EMRs. We also have a college student program staffed with 6 students, and basically those individuals are going to school to become EMTs or paramedics. And in return for giving them a place to live, we're also having them staff our ambulances to assist us. And then we also have 5-line staff that staff the ambulances along with our administrative staff, and then auxiliary, which is our auxiliary members are the individuals who volunteer from the community. They might make sandwiches or bring us supplies that we might need. And then we also have high school students who we have partnered with the high school. And I think there's about 10 of them right now who are getting college credit for learning about the fire service, what it's like to be a firefighter. And that's been a really strong thing we just started in the last year. So this is our overview of our vehicles. We have 2 ambulances, we have heavy rescue. We also have 4 engines, 2 staffed out of the main station and 1 at each of the substations. We also have some brush rigs for fighting wetland fire. We have our water tenders for supplying water out in the rural area. Our ladder truck, which I'll talk a little bit about, and then our 2 duty rigs. And if you look here, a lot of these vehicles are over 10 years old, and some of our engines are over 20 years. And we've purchased some of these vehicles through grants, and we've also purchased vehicles from other districts. We buy new to us vehicles most of the time, with the exception of Engine 9, which we actually bought through a grant. We also got our ladder truck donated to us from Portland Fire. So we are trying to use our resources as wisely as we can. And this is a overview of our call volume. We're expecting to run somewhere around 1,500 calls this year. And if you can see, it's steadily increasing. Over the last 5 years, we've seen quite an increase in calls. And we're expecting by the year 2021 to be just around 2,000 calls, which is a pretty good amount of calls for a district our size. And this is kind of a breakdown of our calls. We run a majority of EMS calls and rescue calls, and then the rest of them kind of make up this small wedge. Fires actually are a very small percentage. We run a lot more service calls, which is just really showing up to someone's house to help them up off the floor, or to talk about, or we're going to show them how to change out their smoke detector, just kind of doing little things for them. And then this is an overview of our tax revenue. The district does get money through property tax. That's not actually all of the money that we generate. We also bill for ambulance service, and we also are billing for motor vehicle accidents through your auto insurance. And the services we're actually billing for your auto insurance actually is already included as a part of your insurance you're paying. So it's not like you're paying extra for that. But if we look at the medical side, we do bill for our services, but what we get back is a very low percentage. We're getting between 46 to 56% each year. And the last numbers we got, we were looking closer to 35% of those being billable. And then Medicare and Medicaid kicking back and saying that they don't allow a certain percentage of their bill. So we're actually collecting about 33 cents per dollar on every Medicare and Medicaid patient, which also makes up about 45 to 50% of our call volume. And what have we done over the last few years with the levy money? We have spent money trying to keep up our buildings and our equipment. You can see we've done a lot of work on the buildings, working on the lighting, the windows, gutters, and many things around the station, the floors, repainting the buildings. We replaced an ambulance, a 2012 ambulance, to replace our 2003. And again, a portion of that money came from the levy. And we also replaced one of our command vehicles that was high mileage, and we were going to have to spend a lot of money on trying to repair it. We bought 2 Zola monitors, which the picture right here. This is what a Zola monitor is. This is something that we use to. This is what we use to look at people's heart rhythms. We also use it to save people's lives who are having heart attacks. And it also collects a lot of vitals. And another thing that this has provided us is an opportunity to grow with the technology. There's a lot of things that our monitor can do to give the hospitals information that we, right now we're giving them a small portion of that data, but that monitor is capable of transmitting a larger amount of data that would in the future actually help our patients get better care once they arrive at the facility. We bought new rescue tools, the Jaws of Life, to help us work on cars. A lot of newer cars are made of exotic metals, and they're designed in a way to help keep you safe. But that also means when we go to cut you out of the car, it's more difficult. So we've upgraded our tools to help with that. We also bought new airbags. These are used to lift the car up off the ground. So if you're underneath it, or if we're trying to get to you, we need to make a way for us to get in. We can actually lift vehicles up off the ground and create a new way in. Sorry. Thank you. We also have replaced our turnouts. Turnouts are one of the things that is mandated by the federal government that they're replaced over a certain period of time. We don't, it's not that they're wearing out necessarily, but it is a problem with the standards. We have to keep our equipment up to a certain standard. And so every 10 years we need to replace them regardless of if they're brand new or if they've been worn. And also just for our members' safety, they're going into burning buildings and they're getting filled with carcinogens, which they stay in the turnouts over time. No matter how many times you wash them, there's always a little bit left. And to kind of keep our members safe, we also want to replace them just for the sake of reducing the risk of getting cancer from them.
So was this spent just last year?
This is all that's been spent over the last 5 years. And we've been replacing them between 5 and 9 sets a year for the last 5 years because, again, their expectancy is 10 years. So if we were to buy a whole bunch all at once, we would see that in 10 years we would have to buy them all at once again. And we want to kind of stagger that to help, one, to reduce costs each year, and also to kind of extend the life over more and more sets of turnouts. And then the same thing, we just bought new SCBAs, which allow us to be in the fire longer and help keep us safer. The new ones that we bought hold more air. One of our chiefs likes to explain it like a coffin. The amount of air that's in a coffin is what we used to have in our SCBA bottles, our breathing apparatus, and now we have double that much air, which helps our people get in, get what they need to do done, and then come right back out safely. And again, it's all about being safe. So this slide is really more about how much money we've brought in with the current levy, and then what we've spent it on in general, like station upgrades, apparatus, the equipment we talked about, the monitors, the rescue tools, and our equipment to protect our people. And there is a little bit of a difference between these two, and that's because this was as of February when we had come up with these numbers, and since then we have spent money to purchase additional SCBAs so more of our people can be protected. We've also bought a power lift, a device that's going to be able to help lift the gurney where our patients are on into the ambulance, so we reduce the number of back injuries, loading and unloading the patients from the ambulance. And then we also bought an additional 4 pairs of turnouts. So while it does look like the math doesn't add up, it's just because that money has been set aside, that difference has been set aside to buy the remaining things that we needed for the year. With the continued support of the levy, we are going to work on replacing our second out ambulance, this ambulance right here. This ambulance has already gone through one upgrade. We took the box, which is this portion, the box on the back, off of an old chassis and put a new chassis on it. And that happened in 2007. That box actually also has a life expectancy, and we are at the point where we're going to need to replace it to meet the standards that we are required to deal with. We're also going to try to replace an engine. This engine is 27 years old. It's done its job. It's kept us safe. It's helped put out a lot of fires. But at the same time, it's time for us to consider possibly replacing it with the levy. And then we're going to be looking at doing some building upgrades. The bay floors need to be sealed so that our apparatus don't damage it, and also just helps reduce the wear and tear so that it will last longer. We need to insulate our outlying stations. Their insulation is outdated and needs upgraded. We're going to work on their bay floors and their roofs. A majority of their roofs are over 20 years old and are in need of service. And we'd like to repair them rather than end up replacing them, because that's a very expensive process. There are some cracks in the outside walls, which after this presentation we can go walk around and look in toward this building. And then heating upgrades in our 2 substations. Our substation out in Buell has a cadet heater in the wall. That's the only thing left that actually will heat the building, and that's something that we feel really strongly needs to be replaced. And the Ballston station also has a heating system that's not capable of keeping up with the heating needs. And it also is very expensive to run those kinds of heaters for such a big operation. And then we're going to try to replace the automatic doors and add automatic door openers to our buildings, because that's really important. To get out the doors quickly, we need to be able to hit a button and have the doors start going up, rather than having someone try to throw the doors up so they can get out. That is important to responding. So we did have an open house on Saturday. It was a huge success. We had many community members show up. And we had a bounce house. We had a fire prevention house. We had a lot of the community's children show up, and they had a ball. Personally, I was a part of the fire prevention wheel, and I just really was impressed with the knowledge that our youth had, and it was really exciting to see the parents getting involved in helping their children learn about fire prevention. We also handed out hot dogs and cotton candy, which was a huge success. And then this is the town hall meeting that we're in right now. So that's the end of the slideshow presentation. This is a chance for you guys to ask any questions you might have. And then if you're a live stream viewer, you can go to Sheridan's Facebook page and post questions. You can also message us on our website, and we'll feel free to do that at any point. And then I will get back to the live stream viewers with their questions.
What happens if this is refused by voters?
Oh, if this doesn't pass, we'll have to make some hard decisions about what we're going to work on, what projects we're going to try to prioritize. Just like any other agency or organization, when funding isn't there, you have to prioritize your projects.
So this is an operational cost. This is infrastructure upgrades.
Infrastructure upgrades, vehicle apparatus replacement.
How much is the levy? How much is the cost of this normal person? 3,400.
So it's going to be about 34 cents a thousand. And that's actually not an addition to what you're already paying. That is maintaining what the current taxes you are paying at this moment.
So if they vote yes, then we'll have an increase in that.
Yeah, it's not an increase.
Continuation.
It's just a continuation of the levy, which this will be the second continuation. Are there any other questions? Okay, well, thank you for coming.